Okay, looking around the car, you can see the splitter. It's made by a company called 9 Lives, and it bolts to the stock subframe, but I changed the subframe for the radiator, which I'll show you in a moment. So it's a lot sturdier, a lot stronger. These C5s are normally bottom feeding, so the air goes under the splitter and then up into the engine bay, but I've done a flipped radiator, which I'll show you in a minute. And this is the intake now for the radiator and primary oil cooler. This is another intake for the supplemental oil cooler. This is a intake for the front brake. Same thing on both sides. Here's a tow hook. Canard that gives it quite a bit of extra front end grip, which you always want. I can't remember what they call this, a barge board maybe. And then these are called spats. Just simple little devices that do a big help on the aerodynamic side of it. These hood vents, this is made by Track Spec. They're the guys who do the spec Corvette stuff. But since I don't have to have a spec Corvette one, I've got this louver in the front made by a company called Race Louvers. And you can see the lead ones create a lot of negative pressure behind it, and the rear ones actually draw air from under the engine compartment. So it really does a good job evacuating all that. You can see the radiator in there with a huge Spall fan. I'll show you the engine compartment shortly. Here's the hood is held down by hood pins. They're all tethered, so you don't lose them, because believe me, those things are easy to lose. 4 hood pins. The windshield's brand new, just put that on right before the last race. I think I've got 1 race on it. Windshield wipers, just in case you're in the wet. A NACA duct here. That's basically, that blows a lot of air on me. I'll tape it off on a cold day. It also helps put pressured air into the engine or into the driver compartment, which helps the oil coolers in the back, which I'll point that out again in a minute. Here's, like I showed you before, the cage. It's got all the certifications. The car was completely Trans Am legal last year for this year, but depending on who you want to race it with, you might need to get some things recertified. I didn't show you before, but I've got a heel stopper, which is really convenient, really nice to put to rest your foot on. It's just something I put in. The throttle pedal has an AMT extension, so it makes heel and toe much easier. You can just heel and toe this thing all day without even thinking about it. It really works nice like that. The Willwood brakes, 14-inch, I believe. These are 11-inch wheels by 18-inch. The Pirellis, I think, are, I forget the size, 305, 660, 18, which is similar to like a 305, 30, 18. When we were running Spec Corvette, we're running 315s and no wheel rubbing issues at all. Here's the rear brakes are Willwood 4-piston. No handbrake. I deleted the handbrake. No need for that. What else? Body was in pretty good shape. There's a couple little holes here from where the spoiler, the Spec Corvette spoiler, used to be installed. A little notch right here on the trunk lid to clear the wing mount, the swan mounts. What I didn't show you before, in here, these vents are for the that's for the oil cooler for the transmission and differential. I'll show you that from under the car in the next video. Looking the car around, it's in pretty good shape. It's definitely not show car, but it's nothing glaringly bad. This rim's got a little paint missing on it. That's an easy touch-up. I've had all these rims powder coated, but they take a little bit of a beating on race days. Here's another NACA duct on the passenger side. The passenger seat's the same as the driver's seat. The Sparco Pro ADV, made for big boys. I'm 235, 6 foot, and I fit in it super comfortably. My wife, who's a small lady, fits the seat great with the seat belts on. It holds her in nice and snugly. The frame, the roll cage is unpainted, which I think is beautiful. I love it raw like that. It's got some padding where you need it. Plenty of foot room for the passenger. They're not scrunched up at all. They're fully protected. They can even wear a Hans device if they want. Not that I've never had a passenger wear a Hans device, but they could. You can see the door is also gutted. You do have a handle. And that's pretty much the outside of the car.